What is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Life in the Fast Lane. I am Andy Lang from WagerTalk.com. Going to recap the Charlotte race as well as the Monaco, do a little Indy 500, and get you ready for this week's NASCAR race. A much slower weekend this week as we don't have a Formula One race, and we're going to a NASCAR track that they have not raced on. The trucks have, the Xfinity cars have, but the big boys in NASCAR have not. So should be should be new. Should be interesting to watch and see how they navigate this track. So betting wise, coming off a massive weekend, 6-1 over Memorial Day weekend. The one loss was a Chase Elliott top 10 bet when he wrecked, but could not be happier going 6-1 with all those races. Cashed some Formula One practice bets and then swept the Indy 500, swept the Formula One race. So great day of racing. You guys can get all my picks at WagerTalk.com. And like always, leave me your comments and picks below. You guys did great last week. I love seeing some of the feedback. I love seeing some of the picks. So keep doing that, guys. And I'll keep responding and interacting with you guys as much as possible because I love seeing where everyone else's mindset is. So, all right, let's do a Charlotte recap. I mean, my God, the broadcast was over 7 hours for one race, a full work day for one NASCAR race. Chase Elliott wins stage 1, Suarez wins stage 2, Chastain wins stage 3, and Denny Hamlin just the default winner winning the race. He had no business winning it. Kyle Busch had no business finishing second. It's just the tires kept blowing, and you kept having these just a caution filled. I don't know why they can't test these tires a little bit better because it sure seems like they're having some really, really big issues. Guys just cannot make these tires last long, and maybe that's on the crew chiefs. But as far as from viewing, when you start your broadcast at 6 p.m. Eastern time and it gets over after midnight, you got to do something. There's no need for 600 miles. So I don't even know if there's a whole lot we can take away from this race. I mean, it goes down on paper that the Gibbs cars were really good, but like I said, Hamlin and Busch, I didn't think we're deserving of that. I thought Chastain should probably deserve to win the race, but let's take a look at the Stenhouse Award, and we had a ton of them this weekend with 3 races. So we'll start with the Formula One race. Ferrari totally hoses over Leclerc on the pit stop strategy. What a disaster. He was running away with it. The only chance Red Bull had to win was if Ferrari screwed up, and they did. They screwed up. So instead of winning, he finishes 4th. And then Ferrari tries to challenge the win after the race, saying Red Bull violated a pit rule, and they basically get laughed at. So tough day for Ferrari. Scott Dixon's moved to the Indy 500. Scott Dixon, the most dominant car, he's led the most laps in Indy 500 history, and the guy can't close out. Speeding penalty late cost him the Indy 500 most likely. That was a very expensive and career-changing speeding penalty. And then, I mean, my gosh, NASCAR, let's just go down the list. Ryan Preece, early, he spins all by himself. Buescher's right behind him, mimics Ryan Preece by spinning right into Preece. Bubba Wallace spins by himself. Austin Cindric blows a tire. 50 laps to go in stage 2. Kyle Larson and Ryan Blaney, they do not come in for fresh tires. They both immediately spin. Chase Elliott spins. This one was ridiculous. So Chase Elliott spins, breaks a toe link, and NASCAR kicks him out of the race because they have this rule where you only have a certain amount of time to fix your car, and they didn't fix it fast enough. So NASCAR is putting on a 600-mile race that took over 7 hours to complete, and they tell Chase Elliott he can't continue because they're not moving fast enough. Oh, NASCAR. I just can't quit you, NASCAR. Blaney spins, takes out a ton of cars. We had that huge wreck. Hamlin, Wallace, Byron, Kurt Busch, Keselowski, and obviously Hamlin rebounds nicely. Kyle Larson, I mean, what a disaster in the pits for the first half of the race. Several pit issues. A pit member goes over the wall too early. Almirola knocks a tire out of his hand. Larson knocks the other one out of his hand. So one pit crew member jumped over the wall with 2 tires in his hand, ended up with 0. Larson's crew chief then comes over the radio to tell Larson to stop bitching and moaning. So tough first half of the race for Larson. And then Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano's pit stalls were next to each other. They looked like the two stooges, several close calls. And then Hamlin ran over the foot of a pit crew member. I don't know. No penalty. You ran over the foot. I guess the foot was out a little bit too far, but my gosh, I just think if you run over someone else's pit crew member or even your own pit crew, it's at least a penalty or something. You got to be a little bit careful. So we're gonna have dual winners, though. Honestly, for the Stenhouse Award, Scott Dixon's speeding penalty that cost him the Indy 500, and Ferrari screwing up the pit stop strategy that just handed the Monaco race to Red Bull. You gotta have dual winners when you have two separate occasions where they were easily going to win the race and then turn it over to somebody else. So congratulations to Scott Dixon and Ferrari for being the Stenhouse winner. It's the only thing they won this week. So let's take a look at this track that they're racing at NASCAR. Going to be honest, guys, I'm going to play it careful this week. The trucks have raced there. Xfinity has raced there. You can look up what this track looks like. Think Darlington. It's an egg shape with different banking. It's 1.25 miles. When you look up Darlington just from the sky view, that's exactly what this track looks like. I would be worried about tires. This is a new track for them, and they have not been being able to manage tires on the tracks they know very well. So I think this could be a caution-filled tire issue wreck fest on this one. The track looks very wide, so I think it's probably wider than Dover off the top of my head. But if you want to look at comparable tracks, I would start with Dover. I would start with Darlington, and maybe sneaky. You might throw Phoenix in there just because Phoenix is around the same mileage. But definitely Dover and Darlington are going to be your two tracks. For matchups, I'm probably going to try and find a Gibbs car versus a Penske car, maybe Chastain versus a Penske car. I'm not too totally sold on the Penske cars at this point. So definitely going to look to try and fade Austin Cindric. That's been a good strategy. So, all right, let's take a little trip to the Slipstream. We don't have a Formula One race this week, but Monaco, rain was the big story. They delayed the start of the race. Everyone is on wet tires. Latifi and Stroll, they can't even make it around the formation lap without getting into the wall. And then a perfect start for Ferrari. They get exactly what they wanted. And then disaster. Red Bull goes to the intermediates quicker. They try and pit Sainz and Leclerc at the same time. It was just terrible. When all is said and done, Perez comes out, Sainz in second, Max in third, Leclerc in fourth, and you just can't pass on this track. It's really, really bad how you cannot pass. I don't know what you can do about it, but I saw 0 passes except for guys in the back. So really tough. George Russell continues to outperform Lewis Hamilton. Lando Norris rebounded nicely after battling tonsillitis. He looked good. And I mean, Valtteri Bottas just keeps cashing these top 10. Even he was terrible in practice. Qualified 12th and on pit stops, made it into the top 10. This just continues to be a cash cow. It's a great parlay piece with other parts because it's like minus 300 now. But Valtteri Bottas, just a top 10 machine. So a sneaky little tidbit. I don't think they're ever going to leave Monaco, but this is the last year that they have a contract to race there. And I know the race is celebrity filled and, money galore, and it's a historic track. It's iconic. But this race sucks to watch. It's not entertaining. The rain at least added a little bit of interesting elements to it, but it's just not a good race when guys can't even come close to passing. And Max even said it in his walk-up interview. He said, like, yeah, since you can't pass on this track. And the announcer was like, oh, I don't know. And Max was just like, you'll see. I don't have to tell you. You're going to see it here in a little bit. And sure enough, nobody could pass. So it's an issue, but it's still a beautiful race to watch. And it's always good when you go 2-0 in it. So at this time, I always do a free bet, but I got to say, guys, I'm going to tread lightly, and I don't want to put out anything that I don't believe in. So I don't have a free bet in NASCAR. I'm going to wait. I'm going to take a look at practice. I'm going to take a look at qualifying. I'm going to see who seems to settle in good, and then I'll kind of compare Darlington and Dover, but I just can't give you guys a free bet right now. I would say, looking a week ahead to the next Formula One race, they're going to be at Azerbaijan, and you can grab Max. This course should set up really, really well for the Red Bull power. And they're going to be real hungry, Maxes, after a third place finish. So you can grab Max to win the Grand Prix on June 10th as a look ahead wager. So that's about the best I can do for free bets. But definitely next week we'll have more of them. So, all right, guys, all the racing picks can be found at WagerTalk.com. Let's have a profitable weekend. I will probably have my auto racing pack up after practice and qualifying. So look for that on maybe Saturday evening, and definitely all the plays will be up on Sunday. Hope to have a profitable weekend and keep this amazing year of auto racing. We're way ahead. We're hitting over 63% of our bets. Very, very proud of that. So let's keep the momentum going. And we will see you next week on Life in the Fast Lane.